The paycheck is the drug sometimes that keeps us from our dreams. That's like rocket fuel, whatever that is. You have gifts and talents that don't belong to you. You better give them away. We teach to live a legacy, but also leave a legacy. Wow, it's quite a combination.
Cheers, let's try it
Cheers.
first. Welcome to Primal Shots, where we journey from the ground to the cosmos. And as the shots get healthier, the questions get deeper. And joining us today is Cliona O'Hara. She is the CEO of the Napoleon Hill Institute. And it is a great platform to bring back these classic teachings from Napoleon Hill in the modern context. I cannot wait to dive into those teachings and what Cliona has to say about them in the world today. And so let's get right to it. Welcome, Cliona.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here.
It's a gorgeous day today. It was so fun connecting with you earlier. I am so looking forward to hearing your insights and everything you're doing in the coaching world.
Yes.
And it's just impressed with you as a parent. I know you have little ones at home.
Yes.
And before we dive into all of that, I want us to journey from the basics, and what we'll do is let's start with the first shot.
Okay.
And this is our grounding shot. And, we always want to begin with presence and what brings us to the now. And so let's start there.
Okay.
And here you go.
Sounds
Cheers.
like fun. Cheers.
Here you go.
Yummy.
What do you think?
Beautiful. Yeah.
What do you think ingredients wise?
Okay, so I'm getting a hint of orange, hints of, I don't know if there's any turmeric, carrot.
Ooh, turmeric.
Turmeric.
That was good. Carrot. Okay, I think
Carrot.
I think you hit them all
Did I?
of the
Okay, good.
And there is a bit of celery in there. Everything that comes from the
Okay.
ground, and I think this shot is symbolic. These ingredients come from the ground, and it's a great way to start off the day, right? And so, Cliona, I know you are wearing many hats as
Yes.
CEO, as a mom,
Mhm.
and so tell us a little bit. Everybody starts their day off differently. Some people just jump into the day. Some people have a really, extensive routine, right? So, but with the little ones and with everything you're doing, describe to us what the beginning of your day looks like.
Yes, I love talking about this because I was actually reading one of Napoleon Hill's books called Outwitting the Devil.
Mhm.
It was a hidden book. It was hidden for many decades because it was so controversial at the time. His family wouldn't let him bring it out. But in that book, about 2 years ago, I've read it many times, but this time it was different. There was something really moved me in the book when he talked about our health. He talked about our body either being a health system or a septic tank.
Mhm.
And at that time in my life, I had so much going on with my children, getting the business off the ground, because I relaunched the Napoleon Hill Institute after many years. And when I was reading that book, it really moved me about the importance of self-discipline. And so as I was reading the book, I realized I wasn't as disciplined as I should have been as a leader, as a mom, as a family member, part of the community. And so I created what was called the self-discipline camp.
Okay.
And that's my morning routine now. And I have classes all over the world in every time zone at 5:30 in the morning. We wake up at 5:30 in the morning. We meditate first. We ground. We also go outside later and ground in the soil. But first, we get on a Zoom call because we have classes everywhere. We have students everywhere. And so we do silent meditation first. Then we do gratitude. We write out 10 things we're grateful for. And then we feel the gratitude. We don't just write it. And then we write out our goals. And this is our morning routine. And then we listen to a little bit of study from Napoleon Hill. And then we go about our day. Then we move into the physical routine. Usually for me, it's getting my kids to school after that. That's my physical part. And then after I drop them off for the bus for school, then I go out. I'm lucky to be by the water. I have a track at the front of my house. I have nature at the front of my house, my apartment. And so I'll go there, I'll ground, I'll walk the track, or I'll go do Pilates, or I'll go to the gym. That's the self-discipline camp.
I love it. 5:30.
5:30.
5:30. So
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. So is that everybody's syncing with that time generally?
Yes, so in their perspective time zones.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
People in Australia, we have people in South America, we have a Spanish class. It's so cool. Yes.
It's interesting. So, I come from an Indian culture, and there's a term called Brahma Muhurat. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No.
So it's a Indian term that means the creator's time. And it's generally between the time frame of 4:30 to 6 a.m. That if you can wake up during that time, it's known as creator's time, which means that during that space, during that time frame, whatever you set your intentions for,
Yes.
you're in that you're sending that message out to the universe that this is what I want.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I love what you said about gratitude, because so important, right? And because if you start off your day that way, I'm sure you've seen that with all your clients, right? Like that it changes the quality of your whole day, just that few minutes of gratitude.
Yeah, 100%. We believe in vibrational frequency. We believe we're spiritual beings in a physical body. And we believe that gratitude's one of the highest frequencies you can be on, and therefore you'll attract what you're in harmony with. And so I love, what is it called again?
Brahma Muhurat.
Brahma Muhurat. I love that.
It's called the creator's time. Yeah. You can Google it. You'll find all sorts of
so
references. Yes.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we are grounded. You've begun your day, and it brings us to our next shot. And this is our focus shot. Okay. And I'm not going to tell you the magic ingredient, but let's just drink to that, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. Cheers.
In Irish, we say sláinte.
All right. What do you think? Ingredients.
Wow. It's quite a combination. First, I got hints of like green tea or matcha, and then I got lemon, maybe some celery. Am I close?
The matcha was perfect. That was you're very good. Very good. So there's a spice ingredient in there.
Yeah.
See if you can catch it.
Is it pepper? No?
Close. It's ginger.
Oh, it's ginger.
It's ginger.
Okay, I didn't pick up the
Yes.
ginger. Okay.
So matcha is it's a very interesting ingredient because it gives you focus, and it gives you natural caffeine, and similar to coffee, but a natural caffeine. But it has this ingredient called L-theanine, which is an adaptogen. So it gives you the focus, but then also gives you the ingredient to handle the caffeine and so that you can handle the stress.
Ooh.
It's actually a little more powerful than coffee because you're getting both sides of that. You get the focus with the ability to adapt to stress, you know.
Ooh. Wow.
But leading with that, with the idea of focus, you know,
Mhm.
I'm sure at any given time you can work on 20 different things,
Yes.
right? So, but Cleona, right now, where is your focus?
Mhm.
And maybe let me ask this question in twofold. One is when you were working with clients
Mhm.
and they're working on many different projects and things like that. One is that what is your general guidance for people in terms of what they should be focusing on as a coach?
Mhm.
And tell me what you're focusing on right now personally.
Sure. Okay. So I'll start with the clients
Hmm.
and general focus or instruction that I would give my clients would be well, first of all, we believe everyone should have a goal. And if my clients don't have a goal or they don't have a life goal, they don't have a monetary goal, they don't have a focus, we believe that they don't have direction because we believe the brain is a transmitting station and a receiving station. And so if the brain doesn't have instructions of where to go, the person can drift through life.
Hmm.
So the first instruction I'll always get clear on with my clients is what is your goal? And so I'll help them discover a goal if they don't have it or expand upon a goal. I'll teach them how to write a goal out in present tense. I think that's very important first steps for anyone in coaching. I'll also help them discover their purpose. I personally have I think I have a gift for that. I also use hypnosis, and I'll bring my client into hypnosis and I talk to their soul, actually. And I allow the soul to tell the client and me what their purpose is. And it happens pretty quick. So, purpose and goal and a crystal clear vision for 2 years in their life, 2 years ahead in their life. So, purpose, vision, and goals, those are the basic ingredients for coaching any client.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just from the audience perspective, so what does that look like when you say hypnosis?
Mhm.
Is it just sort of a deep relaxed state, or and how are they kind of expressing that goal through that process? There's maybe a
Mhm.
little bit of the process
You want
there.
me to do it right now to you? No, maybe not.
Well, we may do an outtake at the end, and but just so I mean, I mean, it sounds so fascinating. I just want to
Yes.
know, like, what does that look like for somebody who maybe they don't know their purpose, and I think a lot of people
Yeah.
are that way. I'm sure a lot of people you run across, right? They don't have that
Yes.
purpose defined. But so what how do you, maybe walk us through, like, what does that look like for somebody?
So, first, I'll put them into a bit of a hypnotic state by rolling their eyes up and walking them down a flight of stairs and getting them
Hmm.
into a little bit of a trance. They're still awake. They can still function. Of course, they're not laying down.
Hmm.
And once they're in that state and they're relaxed, then I'll test to make sure they're in that theta brainwave state. And then I'll start questioning them. And one of the questions is usually getting clear on their why. I have a process called 7 levels deep,
Hmm.
and I'll take them 7 levels deep of their why. And then it's intuitive. Then I guide them. I ask more questions. And I also match their breathing and it's almost like I'm connected to them. So I'll match their breathing, their heart rate, and then I'll just feel and know intuitively what questions to ask. And the more I get to know them and ask the questions, then the more it comes out what they're supposed to be doing, what they're passionate about, what they're called to do here on this planet.
Yeah.
And it's a really, I don't, I don't say it's me. Napoleon Hill called it infinite intelligence. You've said cosmos, right? I can say God. I believe that I'm guided and I tap into infinite intelligence. It's not me. I'm just kind of directed on what to
You're
ask.
just directing that and letting, I guess what you said, letting their soul speak through the questioning.
Yes, yes. I try not to put words in their mouth, and I just allow myself to somewhat be a channel to guide them, and it works. Like, I have great results with the clients, and they thank me, so they have
Wow,
direction. Yeah.
that's so fascinating. Fascinating process. We'd have to do that sometime.
Yeah, no problem. It won't take long.
So, you know, you mentioned the word getting to purpose, and that brings us to our third shot here. And
Okay.
this third shot, I believe it's called our endurance shot. And what it signifies is that, sometimes, we start our day grounded. We have certain level of focus, but, to keep going,
Yeah.
when you decide to take a journey, right? One of the things is that so many people start things,
Yeah.
but they don't follow through because the going gets tough, right? And so this is our endurance shot.
Mhm.
And we're going to touch upon that element of what keeps us going. But let's try the shot. Cheers.
Endurance. Okay, cheers.
Wow. Mm.
Yummy. Wow. Beets.
Beets. Okay.
Uh,
Check.
check. Okay. Apple? No?
Mm. Close. It's paired with pomegranate,
Ooh.
but what's the spice?
I'm obviously not good at spices. So I'm like, I don't usually have spices because I'm Irish. We don't eat spicy stuff. um, Let me guess. So I got beets, pomegranate. Is it ginger? No?
Close. Close. So it's
Okay.
cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper. A
Ah,
touch of it. A
just a
touch of it,
tad.
just to give
Okay.
that little kick. And beets and pomegranate, both of them, they have a lot of polyphenols,
Okay.
and they have nitrates, and the nitrates like really have a very positive effect on your cardiovascular system.
Mm.
So it's called the endurance shots. These are ingredients that the marathon runners and people who are doing real endurance activities will take because the nitric oxide opens up your vessels and gives you that
Oh.
endurance, right? And so it signifies that endurance. And the cayenne pepper adds that little kick that to make the shot interesting.
Yeah.
But the idea of endurance is that in anything we do, um, there has to be a deeper meaning
Mhm.
that takes us through that journey, right?
Mhm.
There's beginning a journey is one aspect, but following through
Yeah.
is a whole different thing, right?
Yes.
And so, Cleona, maybe walk us through. You work with clients who start ambitious projects.
Mhm.
So one is starting is one thing, like I said, but
Yeah.
what keeps them going? Like, what is your guidance as to, what is that meaningful drive that they bring in
Mhm.
to that project or to that endeavor?
Mhm.
And then about you is I know you were in the healthcare space and
Yes.
whatnot, and then you pivoted or maybe you transitioned to this coaching space. So obviously there was some meaning that
Yeah.
that carried over that made you go this route, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, one is what you tell your clients about
Mhm.
meaning and drive, and then maybe what was it for you that brought you to the space?
Okay. Yes, it's delicious, by the way. I wanna take some home. Um, so I find with clients and what I notice is when someone lacks willpower or they wanna quit or they don't follow through,
Mhm.
I have found over all these years of study, and I also was mentored by a man called Bob Proctor,
Mm,
I have found that they don't have the right goal. If you have a goal that creates a burning desire, the first chapter in Think and Grow Rich is burning desire. If you have a goal that creates a burning desire in you, and you know your why, and you have an idea of your purpose, this is what will keep the willpower activated. So if you can think of a burning desire is the flame, the fire, and then I always say the willpower is steam. So if you think of the
mm,
steam moving the engine,
mhm,
right? So the burning desire will create the steam that moves the engine, and then the willpower will go on. People will continue because they have the right goal. Some people have goals that it doesn't light a fire in them, or even worse is they have somebody else's goal. They have their parents' goal. They're following what their parents told them to do. Programming from our culture, and then they'll quit because they don't have the right goal. You need to know your why. You need to have a burning desire, and a goal is not to get. A goal is to grow.
I love that.
You're right. So we're here to grow and
Mm,
expand and create. I believe that's why we're here. And if the goal is not helping you express your uniqueness, like you're doing this is amazing. I love it. This is so unique. Your soul's expressing itself through your work, through your gifts and your talents. And we humans, we need to find that. And if we don't, then we will lack endurance.
I love that. Wow, we're gonna put that in quotes. The goal is not to get,
Get
but to grow.
the goal is to grow.
I love that. Oh
Yeah.
wow, that can be on a T-shirt for
Yes.
sure. I I think that speaks volumes to
hmm
me
Yes.
because when I started medicine and in I'm in radiology and it's a great field and you know s- I would say fairly lucrative field when and it
hmm
still is
Yes.
it but I hit a wall where I said what's going to keep me going here and I had to dig deeper because it wasn't about just radiology. I
Mm.
had to find, like you said, I had to find that fire
Yeah.
to keep going. And for me, it was radiology was there, but it didn't create that fire. And
Yeah.
what I found for myself was that for me, teaching became the fire,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
when I went down that route. And I turned down a VP position. There was a
Mhm.
group I was with, and I was a sort of a young partner, and they liked my people skills and everything like that. So I was like the youngest guy in the group, and they said, you know what, we want you to be the VP of the group because we think that
Yeah.
going forward you can lead this group.
Mhm.
And I was flattered. I was no, I was. It's always nice that people think highly of you and they
Yeah.
see me in that aspect. And I went home. I told my wife. I said, "Look, I said they're going to make me the VP of the group." And that the excitement lasted 2 days. And then I
Mhm.
said, "But is this really what I want to do? This lighting that fire, like you said?"
Yeah.
And I said, and I'm thinking, and I go, "No, it's not." Because I as a VP, I was going to be, hiring people, firing people. I was going to be
Mhm.
dealing with all the hospital admin and all that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I said that, for some people, maybe that juices them. For me, I just felt that I wasn't contributing. I wasn't creating the next generation of doctors. And I said, what I really want to do is teach. And so they made me VP. And 3 months later, I said, I'm going to take another job.
Wow.
And I said, I want to teach. And they're like, you're going to go to another group, start at the bottom and give up
Yeah.
all this.
Mhm.
I said, yes, because I said, I, I need, I need that fire. I need to be happy. Right.
Yeah.
And I would
Wow.
say, looking back now, it's probably one of the best decisions I've made because I wake up each day. I'm so excited to teach. And that
Mhm.
teaching gave me an idea that I can not only teach residents, but then I can teach people through these avenues. And here we are.
Yeah.
You know?
You're making a much greater impact because you followed your soul's hunches, intuitive nudges, and congratulations.
Right. And it's sometimes, as you said, it's not about what you get. It's about what
Yeah.
makes you grow,
Mhm.
and at that time it is a very tough decision.
I
It
bet.
is a very tough
Yeah.
decision when you have money on the line,
Yeah.
when you have a title on the line, and people just don't understand. They're like, "Wait, you're giving up this position,
Yeah.
to start over again?"
The
And so,
risk.
but I just knew. I said, just feels right. It just really feels right, and I
Yeah.
don't care if I don't make as much money. I don't care if I don't have that title, but I want to wake up each day, feel like I'm making a difference,
Yeah.
and if I don't wake up that way every day, then what's the point?
No
What's the
money's
point?
worth
What's
it. That's
the
it.
title? The title doesn't
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. The money
No,
doesn't matter at that point,
that's right. That's right.
And but thank you for sharing that. I love that quote.
That's so good. There's another quote that just came into my mind from memory, what you shared. The paycheck is the drug sometimes that keeps us from our dreams.
Wow. Right. Right.
So,
Right.
in many cases, that could have been the drug, that kept you from your dreams as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I guess another way is not, are you making a living or making a life?
Yeah,
Right. And another way
exactly.
of saying that. And but and again, a lot of these things, sometimes the quotes are cute, but when you're in that situation,
Mhm.
when you have to pick that fork in the road,
Mhm.
it is a very hard decision.
It
It's an
is.
extremely hard
Yeah.
decision.
There's a process, we call it the terror barrier. You make a decision and then you hit this wall, and it's your comfort zone, this wall of, and the fear kicks in, and most people revert back. Like over 90% will revert back to where they're programmed, where they feel safe. It's unfamiliar. But you were one of the people, and so was I, who jumped through the wall.
Yes.
We said, "Listen, we'll get wings as we jump. We'll figure it out." Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know what's on the other side of that wall, right?
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
but I did know that if I stayed on this side of the wall,
Mm.
that I was not going to be happy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it was just that, okay, whatever it is, let's just
Yeah.
get through this wall and figure out what's on the other side.
Yes. Exactly.
So that brings us, Cleona, to our fourth shot. And we've been talking about what drives us, the what brings us meaning,
Mhm.
and but life is not just about us, but how we connect with others.
Yeah.
And really, we've talked about this before as we were having a, pre-show. We were
Mhm.
chatting, and about connecting with people, and
Yeah.
so this is our, you may have to stir this one. This
Okay.
fourth one is our tribal shot,
Ooh, tribal.
and and this symbolizes our connections in life. Okay, there you
Okay.
go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm, that one's always so smooth.
Mm. Chocolate.
100%. Check.
My favorite.
Are you a chocolate lover?
Yeah, we had a joke growing up because I have a brown mole somewhere on my neck,
Mhm.
and because I still love chocolate, but my grandmother used to tell everyone, "Oh, that's her chocolate spot. That grew because she eats too much chocolate." So I can taste.
So cocoa is the star ingredient. The spice and I guess the surprise ingredient in there is tough to taste, but
Mhm.
it's a ingredient called maca.
Oh, yes, I've
And
heard of
so
it.
cocoa, as you know, what's interesting about cocoa is it has this component to it, which is called anandamide.
Mm.
And it's an ingredient that's only found in few things, and cocoa has it. And it's actually a bliss ingredient.
Ooh,
It's
that makes
it's it's
sense.
it's uh, it's an ingredient that when you are blissful, you have a
Yes.
higher levels of anandamide running in your body.
Ooh.
And that's why when you drink, that's probably why you like chocolate so much, because
Yeah.
it has that bliss ingredient in there.
Okay.
And maca is it's a root, and
Mhm.
it balances hormone levels in
Mm.
females as well as in men. And for men, it gives them a little bit of a testosterone boost, and for female, it balances the hormones. So again, speaking to the connection and that tribal aspect, you know.
Ooh, love that.
But I love symbolic meaning of the shot for your work, you know,
Mhm.
and one of the things, you know, Napoleon Hill always talked about, which I think for me is one thing that I've carried and for
Mm.
through his teachings was the mastermind concept,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I remember that chapter in the book, and
Mhm.
um I believe he talked about like that he would close his eyes and he would picture a round table where he had
Mhm.
all these people sitting on there. Like I think he had Abraham Lincoln and all
Yes.
these other people, right?
Yeah.
And he would close his mind and close his eyes, and he would go around the table, and he would, in his mind's eye, he would
Mhm.
picture how these great people would advise him
Yes.
on his decisions, and I thought it was so fascinating. It was a bit far out too, because I was like, really? How, you know, how does that work? But
Yeah.
it excited me. You know, the term mastermind excited me and the process excited me. And so maybe Cleona, share with us that how do you teach that in the modern? What's the modern take on that mastermind? How do you
Yeah.
teach it? And from the tribal aspect, how are you creating a mastermind for
Mhm.
yourself? Well, you know, what is your inner circle?
Yes, yes, I love it. So, yes, the mastermind it's basically when two or more are gathered together in a spirit of harmony with a common purpose. And so Napoleon had what he called invisible counselors. And I have my invisible counselors. Like even coming here to sit here with you today, I had to close my eyes, talk to a couple of them. And so, um, you have the spiritual realm, the invisible realm, whatever you want to believe in, but you can call them your guides. And they're usually people that you admire and that you trust. It could be a family member, it could be someone great at business. Like he had Andrew Carnegie and others in his guidance council. And so, but in today's terms, we teach the mastermind. It should be no more than 12 people. You should actually seek for your own mastermind for your life and your business. And you should be finding people that are in harmony with your goals, that can help you with your goals. But more importantly, the mastermind is about what can you contribute to the mastermind. It's not about just getting a group of people together to get. It's actually about getting a group of people together in harmony to give
Mm,
to the
mm,
mastermind. And so when you approach it with that intention of giving, you automatically start to attract the right people. And you should approach them. You should ask them, are you interested in the mastermind? You should meet once a week and for 30 minutes to an hour. Like there's a process. There's a timekeeper. Everyone shares every week. Everybody gets a turn. What do you need help with? So there's an actual process to a mastermind, taking notes and then having accountability with your mastermind, seeking help for your business, your life. And so we teach that. I have a mastermind myself right now with only one woman, and it's just me and her. She's very successful in this space as well in personal development. And so, and then how I'm sharing this with the world is through the Napoleon Hill Institute. We have a huge community all over the world, and we're teaching people to create their own masterminds. We also do dinners, and we have people come, do a mastermind at dinner, study together, help one another. And that's how we're going to share it with the world. But I think everyone should have a mastermind. It's almost like having a second family. You know, not everyone had a great family growing up, right? Dysfunction and so on.
Sure.
This is a chosen family that you can lean on and you can trust. Everyone should have a mastermind.
I love it. And is the goal to get to 12? Is that the goal, to get to 12, or is there a set number, or it depends on what you're comfortable with?
It's about harmony. You have to make sure you're inviting the right people in, because if you invite the wrong people, they can destroy the harmony of the group. And then you have to ask them to leave. You have to do a vote. And you don't want to do that. That's why I'm keeping mine small for now. Being very careful with who comes in. But the goal is not to go to 12. But Napoleon taught us it shouldn't be more than 12. Because once it gets too big, then it's diluted. Not everybody has time to share and speak and so on.
Yeah.
And I don't know if just a theory, but I was thinking about like the 12 apostles.
That's what I was, thinking of as well. Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but it might have some significance.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
the disciples.
That's
yeah.
great. Yeah, it's such when I read that in the book, I thought it was such a brilliant concept.
Yeah.
And, and I think in this day and age, Cliona, and as we're digitally connected with everybody, but yet lonely in our own world. We don't have, maybe we have lots of connections, maybe we have lots of followers, but we don't have that inner circle where we can share our weaknesses and our victories at the same time, and I think people lack that, and I think that concept of mastermind, I think, really needs to be emphasized in this day and age, especially with AI, with all the digital connections. I think that people need that, right? Because it's much more of an authentic connection, and it goes beyond family, right? Because sometimes, you have family and you can talk to family members, but it's not the same as a mastermind, because here you are interdependent, right?
Yes.
And you're counting on each other and supporting each other.
Yes.
And I have a good friend of mine who uses the term ecosystem, and creating that ecosystem that nurtures everybody that's part of it, and I think that's, as we go forward, I think that's going to be more and more important.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with AI now, people are getting more and more disconnected.
Yeah.
And even Napoleon Hill Institute, what we're focused on now is doing more in person, in setting up these meetup events and getting our community into rooms, sharing a meal, sharing their goals. Like that's where we're headed now because of this reason. We need community. We need support.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I tell people that anything great is going to come out of co-creation and collaboration.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
I mean, you and I individually, there's only so much we can do.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And but we need collaboration to do great things,
Yes.
you know.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I think one of the most important elements of a mastermind is we believe when there's two or more together, two minds together, we're then plugged into infinite intelligence, God, cosmos, whatever you want to believe in. When the two minds are in a spirit of harmony, you actually plug into that source of information where you will get ideas that you won't receive on your own. It's very important. Most people don't understand how that works. But that's people get the greatest ideas from the mastermind.
Yeah, I love that. You know, yeah, I guess the saying that 1 plus 1 is not 2, but more like 11, right?
Yes, yes,
You know,
exactly.
so well, that brings us to our last element here, Cleona, and you may have to stir this one a little bit.
Okay. It's blue,
It's
huh?
blue, and you know, we talked about connecting with people, you
Mhm.
know, and um, but beyond connecting with people, you know, it comes down to is where are we headed even with our tribe, right? What is
Mhm.
our uh larger cause? This is our cosmic shot. All
Okay.
right. And but cheers, let's try it first.
Cheers. Where two or more is gathered together, here we go. Ooh,
All right. That's definitely a wellness shot.
yeah,
Oh.
that's like rocket fuel, whatever that is.
Mm.
I have no idea what that is.
What how does it taste?
Um, it tastes good. But I can feel it. Whatever it is, it's got potency in it,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's given me more energy.
Yeah.
I feel automatically, instantly energy boost.
Wow.
What is that magic
So
stuff?
so what's interesting is there is a it's called pea flower. It's a special type of a flower which
Mhm.
has a very nice blue color. Then that's for the color because it's a
Oh.
cosmic shot. We wanted to get the blue in there,
Yes,
so
yes.
it is healthy. It has antioxidant properties. The pea flower, but the star ingredient in there is bitter melon.
Ooh,
And you don't find it too in regular grocery stores. They're
okay,
usually in like Asian stores and where cultures that use bitter melon
okay.
because as the name says, it's very bitter.
Mhm.
And so you have to know how to use it, and you have to know how to pair it to make it taste as good as this
This
tastes
one,
because you're
okay.
pairing the bitterness and you have to pair the bitterness with some an apple or some other ingredient like that.
Mhm.
Here it's paired with the green apple, and that's
Green
what you're
apple. Oh,
tasting.
okay.
But the bitterness of the bitter melon,
Mhm.
it for me the symbolizes the bitter truth in life is that
Mhm.
we have a finite life,
Mhm.
right? And even though our goals may be infinite,
Mhm.
we have a finite life. And so leading with that bitter truth, right? That we have a finite life, and it always begs the question and it opens up the paradox that if I have a finite life, what is it that is going to live beyond me?
Yeah.
And what is it that we're working on that's going to live beyond us, you know? And so I want to ask that question, Cleona, to you from a perspective of, you know, do you teach one that legacy aspect in your
Mhm.
coaching?
Mhm.
And the second part of that is that what is it that you want to leave behind? That what are you
Mhm.
working on that is going to carry forward? And I want to preface that with, for the audience. And I know you're working on some of the initiatives for children.
Yes.
When I
Yes.
was reading up on your bio about that, I thought that was so impressive.
Mhm.
So maybe a little bit about where that's coming from as well.
Yes, I love that. So, yes, we teach to live a legacy, but also leave a legacy. And how we help others do that, I believe, is by helping them discover their purpose and and set goals that are in alignment with their soul's purpose, their calling. And I believe our purpose is to give away our gifts and talents, and we teach that. And we pull it out of our clients. Like, why are you here? What do you love? What are you great at? Are you supposed to be a teacher? Are you supposed to help people? And I believe we're all here to help others and be of service. We teach that. It's just discovering your unique gifts and talents. And then how do you grow and express your gifts and talents in the most meaningful and impactful way, not just at home with, by yourself. I believe we're here to leave the planet better off, and we teach that. And then for me personally, I have a few callings on my heart that are, in particular important to me. Of course, I feel Napoleon Hill chose me to do this, and I'm like, "Hey, I don't really wanna do this. This is too hard. Why me? Pick some man to do it," right? So it's been a quite a lift for a couple of years, bringing back Napoleon Hill's work, through our online school and all the trainings and all the things we do. There's many times I wanted to quit, but I could feel I was called to continue his legacy because his material is the foundation of most of the personal development space. If you look around at all the
Absolutely.
teachers, right?
Yes.
And because your dad
Yes.
was reading those books too. So for me personally, I'm being called to get Napoleon Hill's legacy modernized
Mm.
and share it with the entire world. Huge, right? Every country. We're in many countries now. Um, and then also, what's important to me, I just started a woman's collective. And what we're doing is a portion of every sale that we make in the women's collective through education, through programs, whatever we do, is going to what's called the Tiny Home Foundation.
Okay.
And we're building an arm in the Tiny Home Foundation called Keys of Her Own. I want to help abused women, single moms, have a home. I'm going to get emotional even when I share it because it means so much to me. I believe every mother should have a home, and not just a home. They're going to have a tiny home, but it's going to be a transformational home because we're going to plug in coaching, therapy, skills. And so when that woman is there with her children, she's going to have the resources she needs to transform her life. So that's what I believe my personal calling is we have 34 homes under construction right now, but I want to have millions
Wow.
before I die. Transformational homes for women and moms and single moms and women escaping abuse. And obviously the children then will grow up learning about the mind, body, and soul so that they can change the paradigm. That's my vision.
That's so beautiful. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. I know it's sometimes difficult to talk about what legacy is moves us, and what we want to leave behind. Um and love that you shared that with us. And one of the things, speaking on that subject, a lot of these women that are out there, right? Maybe a lot of them want to leave, but there's no home to go to,
Exactly.
right? And so it becomes a situation where
Yeah.
they continue with that situation, that abuse, because there's nowhere else to go, and I can just imagine how um suffocating that
Yeah.
must be, because you know that you want to escape, but there's nowhere to escape
There's nowhere
to.
to
There's
go,
nowhere to go,
and there's
you
very
know.
limited resources.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. That's so
Yeah.
beautiful what you're doing. And we'll definitely talk about that more offline.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear more about that. But no, thank you for sharing that. And I was that was above and beyond what I what I thought we would end up with. But that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
Cleona, I mean, I admire your journey because a lot of people. I know you started off maybe in healthcare and maybe in having a traditional job, and you said no. You know what? I'm gonna go beyond this, break through that wall as we talked about, and you said that I'm gonna start this institute, which is a calling for me. And like you said, it's not easy to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like and really to get people engaged and maybe buy that message and maybe buy that
Mhm.
vision, that mission, but you've done it, and I know it's sort of still in its maybe in its somewhat infancy, and as it gets more traction. But I mean, as far as right now, it's so impressive what you've done.
Mhm.
Um, and but I,
Thank you.
wanted to thank you for bringing that message and that all the paradigms that Napoleon Hill had sort of
Mhm.
clarified. And like I said, I grew up with that, with my dad reading his books and whatnot. I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't have someone like you teaching me or anything like that. I kind of had to just dig in and kind of figure things out on my own. But
Yeah.
you're actually, getting people engaged in teaching, which is just fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
but
you.
let's do a rapid fire round, okay?
Okay.
As we wrap this up, okay? And so 3 questions, okay?
Okay.
And just whatever comes to your head, all right?
Okay.
So, one book that has impacted you the most.
It's actually, Outwitting the Devil
Outwitting the Devil.
by
Okay.
Napoleon Hill.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
One daily habit that has changed your life.
Silent meditation.
I love it. I can probably ditto that from my perspective.
Yes. Yeah.
In that Brahma Muhurat, though, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And one person that has changed your life.
I have to say it was my late mentor, Bob Proctor. I mean, I have spiritual beliefs, but a living person that I've part of my life was my late mentor, Bob Proctor. Yeah.
I know the Bob from Secret, right? Was
Yeah, he
wasn't
was
he?
in
He
The
was he was
Secret
he was
too.
part
Yeah.
of that documentary or
Yes, he
that
was.
he
Yeah.
was right.
Yes.
That's how I know him,
Yeah.
and I loved his demeanor and just his thought process, and oh, that's wonderful. It's wonderful that you got
Yeah.
exposed to that kind of a thought process, and
Yeah.
I can see why you would mention him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was one of the kindest human beings on the planet, and, he just loved helping others.
I love that.
Yeah. And he taught Napoleon Hill every day, so it's like, I feel like I was guided. Yeah.
So I think everything just is fell into place for you, right?
Yes.
I guess the universe was maybe guiding you with these stepping stones,
100%.
right?
Because when I was 27, when my whole life changed, it was because I found that movie, The Secret. Little did I know 10 years later I'd be working with him.
That's
Isn't
incredible.
that cool?
That's incredible. I think that was the first movie that introduced me to the concept of self-development, and that
Yeah.
I had control over the events in my life, really. And then I was exposed to that probably as a teenager. I'm just looking back, probably, when I do the math, yeah. And it just fascinated me. And I said,
Yeah.
wow, so we have control over our future with the way we think and the way we
Mhm.
put out that kind of law of abundance and everything,
Yes.
law of attraction.
Law of attraction, law
Law
of
of attraction.
vibration.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Cleona, I want to thank you for being on the show and
Thank you.
going through this journey from the ground to the cosmos. For the listeners out there, and with all the work you're doing, with everything you know right now, what is one message to somebody watching this, listening to this? What is one takeaway that you want to give them?
Mm, I would say do what you did, which is follow your heart, follow your guidance, follow your intuition. Forget about what's going on in the outside world. Forget about what other people want you to do. You have to be brave and you have to follow that vision and that burning desire no matter what. That's the most important thing in life, I believe. And obviously, give back, be of service, and give away. I would say this is so important. You have gifts and talents that don't belong to you. You better give them away. If you want to have a fulfilled life, you want to live on purpose, give your gifts and talents away. Find a way to do that in an extraordinary way and create an impact in the world. Don't be selfish and hold them back because they don't belong to you. That's my message.
I love it because it's not about getting, it's about growing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Growing and giving,
growing. Yes.
growing
Growing
and
and giving.
growing and
Exactly.
giving, right? So
Growing and giving.
I
Yes.
love it. I love it. Cleona, such a pleasure to have you. And you're such a beautiful soul. And,
Thank
I
you.
just, I can sense that in you that you're following your calling, and I think people will really resonate with that. And in this day and age, as we go in this out there in this AI driven world,
Mhm.
right? We lack that. People lack that soul, right? That authenticity,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes we can make ourselves look really pretty and well kept, but
Mhm.
inside we don't have that resonance. We don't have that that drive and everything that we talked about. But you're the real deal. You're
Mm.
authentic, and thank you for being on the show with us.
Thank you, Dr. Kavin. And also what you're doing, I think people need to follow what you're doing because it has to be mind, body, soul, and earth. This is the way for transformation. So thank you for everything you're giving to the planet and to
Thank
the
you.
world.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right.